Last night I was tossing and turning and I couldn't relax because all that was on my mind was this. How do I hurry up and catch up to everyone out there, building their careers, living the life with great relationships, and I guess just being perfect? Look, call me a hater for this, but sometimes I'm genuinely confused at how some people seem to figure it out so damn fast. If you're watching this, I'm imagining you might want the same shit too though. That perfect life aesthetic. Whatever the hell you want to call it. It's like, why can't we just seem to figure it out too? But think about it like this now. The reason we all watch this shit is because you might be just as delusional as I am. I bet you believe deeply inside that your turn is up next, and it's just a matter of time. I mean, that's what I'm over here gunning for, right? But the big difference between the people that make it and don't is that they're actually out there doing the shit. Just for context, it's been exactly 455 days since I landed in LA, a place I thought and think will help me get to where I want to go. As you might be able to guess, I'm not wildly successful and literally no one knows me still. But the point of me telling you and making this video is to teach anyone who is just one step behind me how they can come up with me by doing what I've done or am doing. By the way, if you don't know me, hi, I'm NanaDelRey, and I know what you're thinking. NanaDelRey did in fact jack my brand, but she also did beat me in becoming famous first. Anyways, I do wish I had more of a creative story, but 14-year-old me didn't know any better and it stuck. The more I think about why I decided to go by NanaDelRey, the more I realize that I can essentially manifest exactly who she becomes. It's not about where you are, what you go by, or what you look like that makes you successful. It's who you become along the way, and I'm just fucking around to find out. So coming up to September 1st, it would be a year that I started my agency. And honestly, I just think like the learnings that have happened in 12 months have been so insane, because from when I first started, if you remember me from like the beginning, you would know that I was a freelancer. I started working like as a side hustle where I was doing content creation, strategy, and social media management while I was working in finance. Then I started to kind of grow that. So I was really like a glorified freelancer for, I would say, a few months before September of last year was when I fully launched the agency, because I wanted to scale a team. And I really think that that's like in my calling. I have like a really big need to want to empower others to build this business with me and to also just like work with amazing individuals in an environment that we all enjoy. 12 months later almost, and I have a fractional COO. I have what I call like an associate, where she kind of works really close to me as like an extension of me on our influencer campaigns with our brands on the agency side, doing content strategy and UGC content needs. And then I have Karina, who's been here since day one. She is mostly focusing on creator sourcing and management. So everyone that we bring into the database, what we call it, for our brands to tap into and for us to like match make the creators, she is the person that helps me source those people. So we kind of find these like untapped up and coming micro creators and micro influencers to bridge into our projects. So she really helps with like nurturing, is what I call it, the creators and the influencers, making sure that our relationship is strong with them and that they understand what our needs are for the brand and like what type of content they should be creating and how they should be executing it. Then there's me, and I'm obviously like the CEO, the founder of the business, and I sit at the top where I basically do sales calls, and I'm also creating the overarching strategy for the brands. So the way that I do it for NanaDelBiz, which is where most people find me on Instagram, how I have created a storyline there where content builds upon each other and kind of creates this overarching message as you kind of go through my content on the feed, is what I try to do for brands. When I first started, it wasn't that. Sometimes, actually oftentimes, your first idea is never going to be your last. But it's really hard because when you're a founder or someone who starts a business, you become really attached and personally invested in your ideas. So when you spend months doing something and then you realize it fucking sucks, or the system doesn't work, or the services you're providing are not what you should be providing, it hurts. But making the decision to stop wasting your time is what most people don't do. So they just continue to try to make it work and waste more time in the end, when they should really just scrap, pivot, and move on to the next thing. It's like so much momentum is happening where I feel it in my chest that like I'm on the right path now, and things started out here like super, super wide, and I'm like narrowing in. The fucking options are endless. Like we actually can do whatever it is that we want in this lifetime, as long as you have a plan and that plan makes sense for what it is that you can provide. You should go do it.
So as you can see, it's dawned on me that having options is kind of a great thing, even if it confuses the shit out of you and makes you feel overwhelmed. If you're considering going out on your own, you have to consider this. You are going to be answering to yourself, and you actually don't know the right answer ever. So just remember that you're probably gonna eat shit 97% of the time. My biggest advice to anyone who feels like they can't start right now because they don't know enough is this. When you have absolutely nothing to lose, you've only got everything to gain. So you might as well just go out there and do it.
I wanted to talk about one important topic, which is, I think, more helpful for people who are just starting out. In my head, life is like 10 phases, or at least what you're working towards, like the bigger goal here is like in 10 phases. And I kind of look at that as years, like so 10 years and like decades. Me have completing my first year and now moving into phase 2. I want to direct this, whatever I talk about here, to people who are going or still in phase 1. Something that I've done wrong is try to essentially emulate and do everything that the big people are doing. You see all these people on social media who are massive entrepreneurs and business owners, and you think like, oh my gosh, I have to kind of copy what they're doing. I have to listen to them like to a T. And it's not to say that you shouldn't get inspired by them. It's just they did things very differently when they were in their phase 1. And you're not necessarily seeing their phase 1 because most people don't usually start maybe like talking about it and being vulnerable about it until they're in like phase 8 to 10. And so it's easy to look at people at their peaks and assume, oh my gosh, I have to do what they're doing in order to ascend to the next level. These are what my videos are supposed to do. They're supposed to serve the people that are just starting and need help like getting their footing down. You should watch what I've done and really analyze that to see how maybe you can, you know, take inspiration to do something of your own that's just tweaked to your style or like your ability or your industry. Because I mean, for me, it's worked. Like I'm growing and I have like a little energized community of people who are like tuning in and watching the journey and sending me emails, DMs, comments, like whatever. There is a space and there are people for you that are looking for you and need you. And I kind of feel that within me to give that to the world. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish. So yeah, I hope my spiel made sense. I'm getting better at speaking off script as a camera. I'm probably gonna hate these in 6 months. So thank you, and I will see you next week.
By this point, I've realized that although I'm attempting to build my perfect life, there's nothing perfect about it for years on years, and maybe even more years. Sometimes I hate thinking that these videos I make are out there for even my biggest haters to watch, because shit isn't pretty right now. But we should believe that if slowly and surely we're chipping away at trying to be quote-unquote perfect, it means we are on the way to becoming the best versions of ourselves. Maybe not using my real name has given me the courage to become a person I know I can be. And maybe moving to LA has given me the freedom to go out and actually try. But if perfection is the goal, then chaos and disaster are the byproducts, and they sure as hell are not pretty. If you're waiting to build your perfect life under current perfect conditions, I'm just gonna tell you that you might be waiting around forever.